JT and hideelee here with a new video. Sorry, it's been a while. It's just that way. We're making a video because yesterday we had the pleasure of attending a record show down in Manistee at the Little River Casino. Kind of a small show, just one room. Sadly, some dealers didn't show up and there were empty tables. We were there for a while and we were kind of feeling like, this is disappointing, not finding much. But then suddenly at the very end, we scored. So hideelee suddenly scored.
Suddenly scored. That's the story of my life, right?
No. But yeah, she thought she wasn't going to find much, and all of a sudden, gangbusters.
Voila.
But we thought we'd come on, show you our purchases. Heidi's got her Spark shirt on. I'm sporting my fairly recent Munster shirt I got when we were on vacation.
And I'm smiling because Oliver, our cat, is over here, and he is completely destroying one of the BCW free bags we got at the door, which is fine because we get them every time, and we're gonna get like 100 of them if we keep.
They're very intent on giving you a bag when you walk in.
Take a bag, get a bag.
Even if you walk in with a bag, they must
get a bag.
It's kind of like a thing, like, I got a garage full of these things my cousin Irving made, that kind of thing. But anyway, we thought we'd come on and share our purchases at the record show with you yesterday. So here we go.
And I don't think I told anybody, so excuse my lisp. But I have Invisalign. I'm doing like Invisalign at age 43. So, so if you hear me lisping, try not to make too much fun of me. It just happens.
Don't make fun. Okay. All right. So I will go first. I already bought from two dealers. I bought a number of records from one guy I always buy from. He comes down from Onaway. And then another guy who had other stuff. But I'll start. First one I got is real cheap. Something kind of for fun. This is a Hugh Masekela's latest jazz trumpeter. I believe he's from South Africa or other parts of Africa. You may know him as the trumpet player on the Byrds, So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, and jammed with them at Monterey on the same song. This is on Uni. I don't know what year this is from, but I picked it up because he does some interesting cover versions, one of which is the Beach Boys' I Just Wasn't Meant for These Times. And of course, there's the obligatory Beatles cover, Here, There, and Everywhere. And he also does Society's Child by Janis Ian. This is on Uni, as all his records, most of his records are. There's your back cover. Mere shekels. I got a deal on this records.
How much is a shekel?
I don't know.
Or did you get it for 10? Is that what the price is?
Well, no. All the records I got from that one dealer came out to like 44, and I said, "Would you do 40?" He's like, "Yeah, you've been here before." So this is like 1967, I think, or 6.
So we can talk a little bit about the state of record shows, though, in our area. At least for this one, there were a lot of empty tables. They had, which was kind of interesting because they had them set up, and I thought they only set up the amount for the people that were going to be there, but evidently maybe there were some no-shows. But I mean, why would you spend that much on tables and not make it? It's not like the weather was bad or anything. The weather was great, but I don't know. And sometimes I think maybe they do better if they had one in the summertime because there's more people in the area during the summer, but then they're not really inside shopping for records. But then again, record people are not known for being super outdoorsy, maybe. No. In general, it's just a generalization.
We are people.
I'm an indoor cat.
We are people of the great indoors, and we work on our moon tan. So.
All right, so I was at the same dealer before you, but then I went to the one next to him, which I think they were related. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just
not that it matters, but I picked up a couple that I didn't have, which is duh. But I didn't have this Roxy Music. I don't know a whole lot about this one. It's from 1974. This is just Roxy Music. I don't think
Country
Life on the back there. Isn't there the one with the woman on the cover?
Yes, this is the censored American cover.
Oh, so I got the censored cover.
The UK cover has the two topless models.
That's why I didn't recognize it, because I was used to seeing the women on there going, ooh. So yeah, I got the edited copy of Country Life. So
I don't know those songs, but as soon as we play, we'll be like, oh.
And it, of course, it has the lyric sleeve, and it's on Atco. Ooh. So yeah, and again, nothing super high priced yet, in my opinion. So I said, sure, I don't have this one. I'll take it.
Next up, I was surprised I didn't expect to see this. I wasn't looking for it. It's one of those things like, yeah, if I ever see it, I'll pick it up because it'll be cheap. These are the Marquettes with Sun Power on World Pacific. Now, all of you out there probably know of the Marquettes from their hit Out of Limits in 1963 on Warner Brothers. Basically, they were a studio band. It's basically the Wrecking Crew and those folks, the producer Joe Saraceno, I believe. This came out later. This is like 67, 68 on World Pacific, which is more known for like jazz and out there things. By this point, I think just kind of like easy listening. I was reading a review of one of the singles taken from this album on 45 Cat, and he said it was a blatant copy of like a Rascal song, maybe Groovin' or something, but I don't see the title on here. But all the songs have something to do with sun.
Superman.
So you got Sun
We'll
Power,
Sing in the Sunshine,
California Sun, House of the Rising Sun, You Are My Sunshine, Summer Sunset, Mexican Sunset, We'll Sing in the Sunshine. But it's one of those cool 60s covers I like to have with the psychedelic things and the nymphs. It would just, gossamer on probably in the Hollywood Hills behind someone's house, and they took a photo.
Uncensored.
So, yeah, Marquette's Sun Power on World Pacific, I think is approximately 1967.
Up next, from the same dealer that I got the Roxy Music from, I got B-52's Wild Planet. I have the other one from around this time. Isn't it just called B-52's, the yellow cover?
I believe
Excuse my ignorance. I should have looked at that beforehand. But I like this one because it's got Private Idaho in it, which is one of my favorite B-52 songs. There's the back cover. And this one was super cheap, but it's really, really good shape. I like this Play Loud on the sticker. But yeah, it was funny. I recently had to take a long road trip with some coworkers to North Carolina for work purposes, and I had my massive 1,000-song Amazon playlist thing playing, which they didn't mind, which was great for me. But Private Idaho came up, and I was shocked to know that my coworker actually knew that song. Margaret knew Private Idaho. So yeah, it's kind of funny running into this and saying, I'll take it. I don't have it on vinyl. So B-52's Wild Planet.
Okay, my next one, also from the same dealer. Now, I got to give a little backstory first. In the late 1960s, not Hanna-Barbera, Filmation did a Hardy Boys cartoon. Very psychedelic, updated for the late 60s. I once saw it very early in the morning in grammar school. It was on like Channel 5 or 9 at like 6:30 in the morning. But it was kind of like with Scooby-Doo. They solved crimes, but they were a band. And they put out 2 albums on RCA. I have the first one, Here Comes the Hardy Boys, in the closet. This is the second one, merely titled Wheels. And I don't know, I got a soft spot for some of this bubblegum stuff. I mean, we love the Monkees, although the Monkees went from Pinocchios to a real band. But this is 1970. I remember we had this at Izzy's, and Izzy used to laugh. It's so, the picture to people, like, kind of like so cliche, of course. There's a late 60s band manufactured, always has to have one token black guy and a guy in a vest, and they got it almost perfect.
Wow.
A black guy in a vest.
Wow.
And one chubby guy who I guess is supposed
Doubled
to be Chet Morton. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this, but it's interesting because it's Dunwich Productions.
And only one girl.
Yeah.
Don't they usually have like a real pretty girl and then like, a bookish girl?
But this is put together by Dunwich Productions and Bill Trout. Of course, Dunwich Productions, the great label out of Chicago that put out tons of great garage rock. But he ended up working for RCA and other things. There's the back cover, and it says right there, Filmation. I don't know if these cartoons are on DVD. I don't know about the songwriting credits, if there's anybody we know on here. Greenwich. I don't know if it's Ellie Greenwich or not. But I don't recognize any of the others. No Jeff Barry. But yeah, 1970 on RCA Victor, or just RCA, and it's Dynagroove. The Hardy Boys Wheels. This was a mere $6. I like this stuff.
That's a card in my bag, but I went over and looked at, there's a gentleman that has a record store in Chase.
Chase,
Michigan. I think it's Eddie's.
Something Eddie's.
Something Eddie's Records.
Steve Carlson visited and did a video.
Yeah, he had a couple of tables there, and he had a lot of really nice brand new vinyl that was, in my opinion, very reasonably priced, even cheaper than the stuff at our local for the new vinyl. And I just, out of pure curiosity and whim, picked this up. It's sealed, brand new. I got it for $14, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It was marked $15, but he gave me $1 off for some reason. I don't know why. But, yeah, it's Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp, their album called 18. And it's really kind of cool because they cover a lot of, older songs. They do the song Time by Dennis Wilson.
Really?
Yeah, they do Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder, Caroline, No, Ooh, Baby, Baby, What's Going On, Venus and Furs, Let It Be Me. So I remember when this came out, hearing a little bit of it and thinking that it was kind of interesting. So to come across it for a mere $14, I said, yeah, I'll take that. And, it makes me want to go check out this guy's store too, because he had a lot of really cool new vinyl as well as old vinyl as well. But it's also on, limited gold nugget vinyl. So I haven't opened it yet. So we'll see if it's really pretty. I'm not one of those color vinyl snobs. I actually kind of think it's fun. So anyway, Johnny Depp, Jeff Beck, 18.
My next one, of course, we are big fans of the band this gentleman came out of and his solo work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Uncle Ed's Records.
Uncle Ed's.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay. Michael Nesmith, Live at the Palais, 1978.
I get to interrupt you again because if anyone here is familiar with Elephant Parts, you'll notice that record album is in a commercial that plays during Elephant Parts.
Really?
And it's you've seen, if you watched it again, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's a commercial for this album where they're like, it slices, it dices, and you can use it to julienne fries and stuff. Look that up on YouTube. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, Michael Nesmith, Live at the Palais, recorded in November 77 in Australia. This came out in 78 on Pacific Arts, Michael's own label. Wasn't looking for this, just happened to see it, and I was like, I've never heard this, so I grabbed it, and it was affordable, not expensive. I mean, the dealer I got these first couple of records from, his condition and pricing is pretty average. A lot of stuff he has is scuffy, but it plays. It's not destroyed. So when you're looking for stuff like, hey, I've never heard that, and this is the first time hearing it, this is a good way to get something cheap, because that's what I've always done. I'm still mainly a CD guy, and but if I'm looking for something and I've never heard that, if I find the LP cheap, I'll buy it, and if I like it, I'll then buy the CD and upgrade, because I need the CD for convenience sakes with the radio show and stuff. But yeah, looking forward to hearing this, because he does Silver Moon, my favorite First National Band song, live. He also does some of Shelley's Blues, the Propinquity,
yeah, I think.
I've Just Begun to Care, Calico Girlfriend, of course, Joanne, and then he covers Chuck Berry's Nadine, I guess, is his encore. And John Ware from the First National Band is playing drums, so this will be nice. Yeah. Michael Nesmith, Live at the Palais, 1977-78.
I can't see that without thinking of the commercial, because they use the record to chop vegetables, and then they push noodle dough through it. Just all the different ways you can use the record besides actually playing it. So
Ronco.
Yeah, you basically. I think you should do your last two next, and then I'll finish with the big flourish, because I have the more exciting record.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. This next one I bought on a whim, because a friend of mine mentioned seeing this band live in 1973. My friend Mike Fornatale, who seemed to have seen every band and everything.
He's got a story about every cool band.
He's a great guy.
He should write a book.
Yes, he should. But he saw this band at Webster Hall in 1973, and he posted about it the other day, because he still has mixes he made from years ago, and it was on his song was on his autumn 1974 mix. This is an all-woman band called Isis. This is on Buddha from 1974. They're kind of a horn rock band, I think, because I see they often play
Chicago.
Horns. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't sound like a female Chicago, but it looks interesting. I have seen this record around before. But Mike's story he posted was they went to Webster Hall, they sat in the middle, or he was up close or whatever, and he took some photos. And he felt that this one girl in the band, Jeannie Feinberg, she was saxophone, flute, vocals. He took some pictures of her, and he thought she was wearing a very colorful, psychedelic halter top or top of some kind, and it was like, wow, that's really nice. She's one really beautiful woman. And he goes, it didn't occur to my little, 20-something, 18, 19-year-old brain until the next day or so when I got my slides back from the drugstore, and I put them into the slide projector and projected them on the wall and said, oh, that's not a top. That's body paint. She did the whole show topless with just her boobies painted. But this is on Buddha, mainly for bubblegum, but this is later in the 70s when they branched out into things. It was affordable, punch hole, a little scuffy. It's got this radio station sticker on the back from a library. But
we're not going to get dinged for saying ISIS, will we?
No, that's a different ISIS.
I know.
These girls want to attack us, fine. But I was going to be curious to hear what this is like, because I trust Mike's tastes and opinions. I don't think it'll be bland like Chicago or other horn bands like Lighthouse, but it might be fun. No cover. It seemed to be all original compositions. The song that I think they're known for that Mike mentioned is Waiting for the Sunrise, S-O-N, not S-U-N. So yeah, ISIS, self-titled, Buddha Records, 1974. And the last one I got, Heidi came over to me and said, hey, this dealer over there's got this record. He's got lots of record store day stuff left over and stuff. And she's like, he's got this thing I think you would like. I think you may have mentioned his band to me. And I was like, well, I got the CD on my want list. I'd rather have the CD. And she was like, well, we looked up the CD price. He goes, with the price of the CD and shipping, it's going to cost exactly the same if you bought the LP. And I kept hemming and hawing.
It was more on Amazon, actually.
I kept hemming and hawing and everything. And she just said, just buy it. You work hard. You deserve it. Don't you wish you had a wife like that, guy? I said, buy more records.
It helps me feel better about my purchases.
I have no problem. But anyway, of course, I love British psychedelia. And this band only put out one single in 67. They were from Scotland. And it's a British psychedelic classic. But this is Tintern Abbey. B-side, the anthology. The song they're known for is Vacuum Cleaner, which, like I just said, is a classic. But this is a 2 LP set of all unreleased material. They had enough material in the vaults to put out an anthology like this. But
it's kind of like Time Box in a way. Like Time Box only had a couple singles, right?
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Time Box. So.
Yeah, but this is Tintern Abbey, B-side, the anthology. One single, everything else is previously unreleased. They were from Scotland, so I can't wait to break into this and see what gems I find. And then if I really, really do love it, I'll track down the CD somewhere, probably on eBay from a seller.
Or you can digitize it using that record player I bought you that digitizes.
Yeah, dirt. Yeah, I could do that too. It's labor intensive, but it's helpful.
Oh, come on. That's why you wanted it.
Yeah, that's why I use it. But yeah, it was only $25. Guy was really nice. He knew his stuff. We were sitting there talking about it when he suddenly said, hey, your wife's calling you over there. And you'll see why my wife was calling me over to this other table. So that is the purchases from the record show at the Little River Casino in Manistee, Michigan.
For you.
For me.
So, yeah, perfect segue there. That worked out pretty well, actually. Look at that. Show that to the camera. Look what our cat just did. This is how naughty he can be. Look at him. Made a little hole in one of these bags. You could tear these apart with your fingers, but he was just all of a sudden got a little bug up his butt and decided to rip into that.
It's not like we don't already have more downstairs from the last shows.
So, yeah.
I'm discouraged now.
So I go over to this table that's kind of across from where John was talking to the guy about the Tintern Abbey stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'll just look over here. It was kind of the last table I went to. And it's always that way, right? It's the last table you go to. And it's kind of fortunate that I hadn't spent my entire allotment of cash for the day. And I'm flipping through. Most of their stuff wasn't even sleeved. It wasn't like the most attractive, to be honest, it was not the most attractive table there.
That's something else I want to address.
Yeah, it was not the most attractive table there, but I was just flipping through and everything.
That's where you find stuff.
And I'm looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I forgot they had music that you can dance to by Sparks. I was like, oh, cool. I saw a few Sparks records around. In fact, the guy at your table had Hippopotamus, but I had just actually bought that on vinyl.
You almost bought it again.
I know. I was like, oh, I was so excited to see it. But anyway, I'm flipping, and they had music that you can dance to and pulling rabbits out of a hat. I was like, oh wow, too. And then they had introducing, and I made sure it wasn't the red vinyl, and I'm like, already have it. And then all of a sudden like, if you're a Sparks fan and you collect Sparks records, at least in the last 10, 15 years or so, this one is not easy to find. So I saw this and I was like, John. And that's when the guy was like, hey, I think your wife's calling you or whatever. So this is interior design, if anybody's not familiar with this album, which maybe even Sparks fans don't care for it that much. Sparks themselves have admitted that they don't really have a real soft spot for this album because they didn't tour with it. But I think when they did the 21 albums thing, they kind of developed more of a heart for it because they saw how much certain groups of Sparks fans really love this album. And a lot of people are either love it, hate it, or are divided on it. And I'm kind of like one of those people that, like, I don't mind it. I think that it's got some really good songs, but some songs that maybe, I don't know. I hate to say they're not good because, I mean, it takes a lot of work to put music out, and I really respect and love these guys, and I would hate to just, crap all over everything like some people tend to. But I can say that my favorites are... So I love So Important, which is probably the first lead single off of it. It's the first track on the album. So Important's really good. The Toughest Girl in Town is a great song. I actually really like Let's Make Love, but I hate the term make love. It makes me want to like puke up in my mouth a little bit because I'm so mature, right? Or the word lover, it's like, bleh.
Lady friend?
Yeah, lady friend, bleh, right? But no, it's like kind of a sweet song. And it's basically, to me, I think it's like the precursor to the Please Don't F Up My World song. And then A Walk Down Memory Lane is really good too. But anyway, this is kind of a hard to find Sparks album, at least hard to find at a reasonable price. And I saw it, it's $30 on it. And online, if you go look on eBay right now, these go for like 75, 80,
really?
More.
What about on Discogs?
Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
When we saw it for auction one night on a stream that we watched, they wanted 75 to start for this. So, and it's on Rhino Fine Arts Entertainment. It was the first, it's special though, because it was the first album that was ever recorded at the Pentagon, which they refer to Russell's home studio as the Pentagon. So it was kind of cool because it's like 1988 is like the first time that they were able to kind of take full control and do the recording themselves at their own home studio. So I have a soft spot for this album. I think it's really nice. And it's also kind of funny that the only pictures of the band, the two guys, of course, Ron and Russell, are these little tiny ones here in the corner. So I was so geeked to see this, right? So I was so happy just for that. And I kept flipping. I pulled this one out right away because I knew I wanted it. And then I kept flipping through it and I saw a couple others. They had Propaganda, which I already had, but it was like cut on the side. He wanted like $40 for it or something. And I had already seen one copy of this next album at another table and they wanted $55 for it. And he wanted $45 or $50 for it. And I was just kind of like, because this is like one of the only Sparks albums that I didn't have on vinyl was Angst in My Pants. And I love this album. And I just kind of, it was kind of like pulling at my heart. I was like, no, I just cannot bring myself to pay that much for this album. I just can't. And so I ended up putting it back and I was just going to buy Interior Design. And the guy must have been watching me because he's like, were there any other Sparks records in there that you were looking at? And I was like, yeah, I was looking at Angst, I know everybody wants that one. And it's, another one that usually when you do see it out in the wild, it's marked fairly high. That guy in New Jersey had one for
125.
Yeah. So it was pretty crazy. So I was like, yeah, I was looking at Angst, but it's just, I can't right now. And he's like, well, hold on. hold on, maybe we can do something here. And so he ended up saying, I'll do 60 for both. So that works out to 30 each. And I was like, take my money, put that little meme in there of them, take my money. Because I was like, to me, that's really fair for a copy of Angst. And it's got a little bit of water damage at the bottom, which is fine for a starter vinyl copy of Angst, in my opinion. I have the CD, but I didn't have it on vinyl. It is marked as a promo on the front, which, why did you put it over their faces? That's kind of dumb. But it's not a white label promo. It's just a regular Atlantic sticker on there. But this is a really good album. Like, if you love 80s pop rock, it's just perfect. It's from 1982, the sparkly suit era of Sparks. Of course, it's got the title track, Angst in My Pants, the single I Predict, Sherlock Holmes, which is one of my top favorite Sparks songs, Nicotina, Mickey Mouse, Mustache, Instant Weight Loss, Tarzan and Jane. Probably one of my top 5 favorite Sparks songs is The Decline and Fall of Me and Eaten by the Monster of Love. So it just totally made my day. This guy, he had no idea. And I told him that. I'm like, you just made me very, 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 very happy. I was walking away from the table and I probably could have skipped out the door. I was that happy. So those are the big scores from the record show for me. And it also means that I have all but one Sparks record that, I don't know, plagiarism is the only one I'm missing. I'm not, I hate to say it again, but I'm not that concerned about getting it because it's just not my favorite. But these I was really happy to find and get because they were definitely on my Grail wish list. So little me geeking out.
I just wanted to show something kind of related to Angst in My Pants. I never showed this. I got this a while ago. This is the Dirt Bombs play Sparks, and they do Sherlock Holmes on one side and nothing to do on the other. Seeing the back cover there. Show the back cover again. See?
Yeah, they do.
And the Dirt Bombs did the same thing.
Yeah,
but the back side looks like
plagiarism
with McCollins and Ben. But,
that's great.
Yeah. I don't mean to up you or nothing.
No, this is.
I happen to remember. Oh yeah, I got that.
You can't up this with that. So
Nothing to do is not.
No, Nothing to Do is from Big Beat.
That's right. Because the Ramones were on the cover.
Yep.
Supposedly Johnny was a fan.
Yeah, Johnny was like a friend and a fan of Sparks. So I thought I lost you for a minute there. He's like, I give up. I'm just gonna go play on the floor. So that was my super exciting thing. And again, I kind of went with an attitude of like, I never find anything. I'm just gonna go and look around, and if I find something interesting, that's why I bought the Roxy Music, because I was like, I don't have this. I should just get it. And
here's the thing, she wasn't feeling well this week. Wasn't feeling well. Big deal. Took off. And it thought to me, what if she tells me, yeah, I'll stay home, I don't feel good, you go to a record show on yourself, and I didn't see these things and come home and say, yeah, they were expensive, I didn't get them, I'd be sitting here with a black eye probably.
Yeah, because I'm abusive. No, but it would have been funny too, like if you had gone on your own and found these and then brought them home for me, I would have been like freaking out, but I was freaking out anyway, so I was just, high as a kite for the rest of the day. It was so much fun. But I did notice like the original price tag on Interior Design said $7.99. Yeah, good luck ever finding a copy of this for $7.99 because I got it cheap, and there's just something satisfying. I mean, I'm a sale person anyway. Like I was bragging the other day that I got like a $120 jacket for like $8.99. And that gets me all like, ooh, excited and everything. But when you find something that you've been looking for in records and you find it at a reasonable price, it exceeds, what you thought, and it exceeds your hopes and dreams in a way, and just makes it all kind of worthwhile. So yay for me. Oh, and also real quick in Sparksland news, anybody who's not aware, new album announced for next year. No title yet, but it's supposed to come out, I think, early 2025, and a tour. So this means that John and I are going to be doing a lot of traveling next year, because I told him I'd go by myself, but he's like, you're not going to travel by yourself.
We'll take Don with us, the old goat.
Yeah, he can come.
He needs to get out.
But yeah, if they come anywhere in the Midwest region, or even like New Jersey area, because we could coincide it with a trip to see his mother. Anything could happen for next year, and I am open to going to pretty much any show that I can drive to within like a 1 to 2 day range. So I will be up at, all hours of the morning when they go on sale. Hopefully the fan club will allow for early ticket sales.
You'll be like Riff Randall waiting in line with a spark stand up.
I'm sure. Yeah. No, I'll be online, like getting those front row seats and planting that money tree in our backyard and saving up a little bit here and there. It was not going to be that bad, but they're not like the Rolling Stones or something, like I'm going to pay $500 to sit in the back and be like, I think that little ant down there is Mick Jagger.
What if there's a meet and greet you can pay for?
I doubt that will happen, but I would do that. But then I don't know if I would, because I'd probably like just be a complete idiot and I would feel bad.
I'll be there with you.
I don't know if that would help. So that was my little excitement for yesterday. And then John will continue on in just a moment with another place we stopped at.
After the record show, we went and we ate lunch. Real nice place called the Bungalow in Manistee. But there's an indoor flea market in Manistee now in a building that used to be like I think it was a Save-A-Lot, wasn't it? Or a Tom's? And it went out.
I think so.
But anyway, it's...
grocery store.
It's a big cross-section of humanity in there. And we found a table with some things. Of course, the guy wasn't there. Some guy was like, I'm just watching it for him. But I found some things. And the guy who actually was running the table, it's close to Halloween. And they had like a Halloween party thing going on there. Kids were going around dealer to dealer getting candy and their costumes. But we
were offered a lot of candy too, but I was like, no, thanks.
But the guy I bought these from had a pumpkin on his head. A real pumpkin, not a plastic pumpkin.
That's dedication. And his face was also painted orange. Did you notice that?
Yes.
He painted his face orange and then put a pumpkin on his head.
Last guy I met with a real pumpkin on his head was Steve Carlson. I don't know. No. And he seemed like he was a little 3 sheets to the wind. But
he's just a happy guy. Yeah. What can you say?
But I found that we bought this for display purposes. It's kind of neat. It's a Soupy Sales card game from Ideal, circa 64.
Wasn't it funny? Like everybody who saw you clearing it around was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Well, he was big in the Detroit area. It's still in its plastic, except for the little section where the pins are, and the pins are gone except for one, and somebody put a twig in there to replace the pins. But it's
from 1965.
It's a simple kids game. You got to spell his name and then put your markers in there, the pins in. So that was neat.
You have his record, right? To do the
bells? It looks like this, the cover. And then he had a pile of these, and we couldn't buy them all because they were...
It was tempting, but we didn't have enough cash.
But the guy was trying to tell me, they're from England, they're from England. I'm like, no, these originated in Los Angeles, mainly with a radio station called KYA, but you could get them through any AM station back then. We bought copies of The Beat, all from 1967. They're addressed to somebody who lived in Manistee. This one, of course, we had to get because it has Peter Tork on the cover and has a big article in there because he was seen in England with a woman and a young child, a baby.
Pretty sure that was the lady's baby.
Yeah. And then
Lady and Lady's
this one,
baby,
because it's got a colored cover of the yellow balloon, which was neat. And John's Rolls Royce there. It's just like issues of 16 with like little gossipy things.
They're fun though. And
he has some more.
So next time we go,
we have to go back and get the last 2 or 3. And this one has the Stones on it, 67. The picture's more like 65. And a thing about Davey possibly in fear of getting drafted. Mm-hmm. And then the last one I had to get, didn't care, the cover's not big, Neil Diamond and Mick, but you open it up and picture the Yardbirds that I've seen 1,000 times, but now I have it in an actual newspaper of Beck and Paige, and it announces Beck leaving the Yardbirds and Jimmy taking over. So these are really cool. Cool ads full-page ads for like the peanut butter conspiracy and stuff. And just really
neat.
They had
a little section that had a picture of Pete Quay from the Kinks. And it talked about how his leg had been broken
in
Paris by 150 screaming girls who bombarded the stage. And I'm like, that's a lie. He was in an automobile accident. Why not just say he was in an accident?
It's promotional stuff.
It's kind of dumb. But anyway, we got these, and I was like, super happy.
So it's an interesting cross section of humanity in the indoor flea market in Manistee. Felt like it could have been a super spreader event, but that's
there were a lot of hacking. I think the pumpkin-headed guy was like everywhere. I was like, dude, no.
Well, when you got a pumpkin on your head, you really can't cover your mouth.
Well, he could,
and he was smoking in the pumpkin.
I don't know. It
outside.
It
was like. He looked like the
just when you thought you'd seen it all.
He looked like the Scarecrow from the Batman comics. But to see a guy with a pumpkin head on,
he would have made a great Batman villain, right? He could be a Batman villain.
Well, in the books, there's the Scarecrow, but it doesn't have a pumpkin on his head. I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking of the Headless Horseman with a pumpkin.
Oh yeah, Ichabod Crane. Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, so that was our weekend.
Alphabetization.
Whatever.
I don't know about you, but when I was in school, if you alphabetize a person, books, records, you go by the last name. Bruce Springsteen doesn't go under B. Terry Reid does not go under T.
Some people like it that way. And I know some cool people in the vinyl community like it that way, so shouldn't technically, it's not the right way to alphabetize. I get it. But for some people, it works. However, when you go to a store or you're looking to buy something, you would normally expect things to be alphabetized in the general acceptable way, right? Like the weirdest thing I saw at the record store, at the record show, was I saw Nielsen Schmielsen, the album Nielsen Schmielsen by Harry Nielsen, right? Mm-hmm. His name is Harry Nielsen, right? So I guess if you really wanted to file it under H, you could. Or, of course, file it under N for Harry Nielsen, right? No, they had it in the S section. And then all of Harry Nielsen's albums were in the S section. I think someone just thought maybe Schmielsen was his last name. I don't know.
It's like if I come across records, I don't know what it is, especially like
look it up.
Death metal or something, or those names like logos I can't read. I do some research, so it ends up in the right spot, so people know if they're looking for it, they go to the spot. It just saddens me how the public school system has failed some people with grammar.
I don't know if it's just if it's a failure, or if it's just kind of like laziness or lack of time or lack of whatever. But I happened to hear the one gentleman talking about how he didn't want to do this anymore, selling the records at record shows. Yeah,
because he from Onaway or the other one.
I don't want to say because heaven forbid, someone could be watching this and be like, "Oh, those two." Yeah. But, I heard somebody say that they didn't want to do this anymore because it just wasn't worth their time or energy to lug all the records there, set them up, and then have nobody come and buy anything. I totally understand that being a record collector or music collector, there's digging involved, right? You find some great things when you're just digging. And there's a fun to the digging and everything. But maybe, a record show might not be the best place to dig in that aspect when you have so many different other tables that could be taking your money. You want to be able to go to the place, look for the stuff, find it, get it, buy it, move on, right? And this person that was kind of complaining that it wasn't worth their time anymore, their stuff was not organized at all. And I guess because I'm kind of like an organization freak that kind of digs into me, because I love being able to find what I'm looking for. And I know there's a lot of people who can be kind of disorganized and find what they're looking for, and that's fine for your own system. But if you're trying to sell stuff,
no, you need to. If somebody says, "Hey, I need you need to be able to go right to that section, pull it out, give it to them."
It's like going to the grocery store and you're looking for, you're not going to find eggs and bread in the same aisle, right? Because they're expected to find them in their respective, unless someone, put them back in the wrong place. But you know what I mean? There's a general order to things when you're trying to sell stuff.
The thing about grocery store, I'm sorry, it's kind of off topic, reminds me, if anybody who's, well, you didn't see it because you were born in 81. There was a show on HBO called Not Necessarily the News.
I've seen it. Just because I wasn't born at the time that it ran doesn't mean I haven't seen it.
I thought you were a little kid. Probably didn't see it. But they had this thing called Sniglets for words that should exist. Game. Yeah, words that should exist. And there was a word for when things in the grocery store are not put back in the same spot. And they showed a line of Ready Whip cans, and right in the middle was a can of Raid. But I know what you mean. Things have to be where they should be.
And you can do your own stuff however you want to do it. You can people can organize it or put it by when they purchased it, and they know exactly where to go find it.
Remember that was my system? I kept all these CDs
and that's
in the order
fine
because
it's your own thing. But if you were going to invite someone in to buy something, I just feel like there's not a lot of effort being put into trying to be a good salesperson. And I mean, I understand that maybe record dealers in general, this is a generalization, might not be the most social or the most...
They're not.
I mean, depending upon who you talk to, because we've met some really awesome people that are into that stuff. But I'm just trying to think of, like, what's causing that? Like, is it laziness? Is it...
a chemical imbalance?
Do you guys run into that too at record stores or not stores, even stores actually, but some stores are like that. Record shows lately, do you have trouble finding things, or are you finding things in complete disarray? Now, I totally understand that sometimes stuff happens because people put things back in the wrong places. Yeah. That happens all the time, right? But for a dealer to like willfully not make it the best experience for the shopper that they can, it's like, do you want to make money? I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of sad.
You don't put the effort in.
Yeah, but then again, it's like we're losing record dealers because of it. Like, they don't want to. He's like, I can just stay home and sell this stuff on eBay anyway. And I'm like, I think that might be the best thing for you, but I don't know. Whatever. So what record show experiences have you had lately? Can you relate to any of this, or are we just super anal retentive and annoying? I don't know. I love to browse. I love to shop. I get digging in certain situations, flea market, stuff like that. Like, I go to a flea market. I don't necessarily expect this box of records to be precisely alphabetized and everything. But when you have this grand expanse of 4 or 5 tables full of boxes of records and nothing's in any kind of order, and you're just like, meh,
Well, going back to digging through stuff, remember that time, I don't know if you guys have them where you are. We have the Restore...
Habitat for Humanity
stores. And there was a pile of 45s. They're not going to organize them. Big stack. I went through this entire stack because Izzy taught me, you got to dig.
Look through everything.
I get to the very bottom of all this absolute crap of like 100 singles, and I find a Keith Relf of the Yardbirds solo single on Epic for $0.25. So it pays to dig.
Yeah, in certain circumstances.
At a record, like she's been saying, record show, record store, things should be organized so you can make that sale and your customer can find something.
Right.
Don't just...
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. It is a lot of work. We've done record shows before, and it is a lot of work to have to bring everything in and put it up on the tables and everything, but it's because we put some effort into it, too. Like, we want to sell stuff, so we try to make it a good experience. So it's just, are we seeing less people at record shows because they're not putting in the effort, or is it really because there's...
Or some of these people are newbies and still getting.
Well, the person that was griping was not a newbie. He's been around for quite some time. But anyway, thank you for listening to our rant. Opinion? If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Again, I know I've always promised at the end of these shows that we're going to do more, but hopefully we will, because I'm finally starting to feel better. And get some more energy back and all that fun stuff. And lots of exciting things on the horizon, I think, for music and some stuff that I'm looking forward to. And he's always buying stuff, so we'll have new purchases. But then also to go through the collection as it stands, there's a lot to go through. We did do some of the ones in alphabetical order. We tried doing it on Instagram for a little while there. So if you go to our Instagram, it's just JT and hideelee. You can see what we've kind of done in the meantime. We're going to just pick back up at the end of that and start showing. So we're in the Fs, I believe.
5 stuck out here.
Yeah, so we're in the Fs now. And so stick around. More to come.
What's your opinion? We'd like to know. Channel 11, New York City.
Leave your comments below. What do you think of our purchases? Yes. What do you think of record shows these days? And I think record stores aren't bad. Like, I've seen more good record stores lately.
We got one new one.
Yeah, in the area in Petoskey.
Hexagon Records in Petoskey. Nice cool guy. Place. He's got Hawkwind and Pretty Things records, so he's cool with me.
Yeah.
And I felt rescue syndrome. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't need those. I already have them.
I found those Gleaming Spires records there. Yep. And you knew to put on there guys from Sparks and Devo. So I was like, thank you. Yes. Okay.
And if you pay cash, he doesn't charge tax. He had a little sign up there.
Yeah, so
we never carry.
Check it out. Now we've got at least 4 stores in the area that we can, kind of go to occasionally. So, and just to mention real quick, so this video is not an entire hour long. We did look at the record store day for Black Friday, and there's not a single thing on there that I want. So,
one thing,
did you?
Just one thing, the Buffalo Springfield at Monterey. But I know if I lay out money for that, a few months later, somebody like Sundays or something will put it on CD.
Yeah, but you never know. Yeah. So, did you see anything from the Black Friday thing? I was a little disappointed, but they can't please everyone all the time.
Wait, is the UK list different?
I think it's a little bit different usually.
Yeah, but that stuff doesn't come over here unless like
eBay.
Yeah.
So.
And then you.
All right. Well, excuse our blabbering. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody. We still watch you guys, even though we're not putting out videos of our own. But hopefully we'll be changing that. So hello to everybody out there. We love watching your videos, and we will see you hopefully pretty soon with another video. So like, subscribe, do all that stuff, comment below. We'd love to hear from you. So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.